Well, hello, my friends. Happy New Year to all of you. 2023, if future versions of myself and other people listening to this vodcast are with us today, we are starting 2023. And it is that time of year when many of us, it's a stereotype, but it can lead to lots of good things. Many of us are looking at the goals that we want to set for this increment of time that happens to be from January 1st through December 31st, the calendar year. And I've seen some negativity going on in the socials the last several weeks about like, oh, here come all the goals, here come all the resolutions, all these things. You know what? I'd have a very different view of that. I think that any time that we mentally make space for ourselves to think about where we are now and what we would like a future version of ourselves to be, that it's a beautiful thing. And if there just happens to be a time in the year where a lot of people are doing that all over the world, you know what? Fantastic. Absolutely wonderful. And I have a few things that I was thinking about. I was thinking about, you know what? If I was talking to my friends this week, or if I was talking to some of my clients and working with some of them on their stories and the different things that we're doing right now, what would I tell them kind of behind the scenes secret of how myself, my team, how we look at goals and how we look at setting longer term goals and achieving them and staying the course? Because that's the hard part, right? We have all of these great intentions at the beginning. We're going to lose weight. We're going to do these different things in our business. We're going to sell this much this year. Our revenue stream goal is going to be this. We're going to do these vacations. I'm going to spend more time with my kids. We set all these goals, and after a while, things start to maybe slow down a little bit, or we forget about them. Now, I have found some patterns in my own life that I have some tactics for that serve me well in my own life and in my business. The stories that I want to fulfill. When I decide that I want a new story during a calendar year to be a reality by the end of that year, this is what I look at. And it's called DMD. And I'm going to tell you what that means, but all you have to remember is DMD once we get there. Now, one of the things that I was thinking about when I was thinking about like, well, how am I going to describe to them the difference between these different aspects of motivating yourself and getting through forming habits and getting to your goals that you're setting when it's a longer term, a year or longer. And I kept getting this image of a Roman galley ship. So if any of you have seen this, you've probably seen it in a TV show or a movie at some point, even if you didn't realize what it was. It's those big ships that had people all in a row underneath that, the oars came out the side and there was a bunch of them in a straight line and they were like rowing. And that's mostly how they powered the ship. Now, these ships also had sails when the wind was available. When wind was available to them, they could bring the oars in or use the sails and the oars and go even faster. Fantastic. But if there was no wind, they still were able to move forward. They were still able to power their ship because they had their oars. And the oars aren't sexy. The oars take a lot of effort. The oars take coordination, but once you have them going, they just work. Once you have those muscles built up, that muscle memory. And so I'd like you to keep that image of the Roman galley ship as we're going through this and talking about the DMD structure. Because that combination of the manual, not sexy, but super effective effort, plus when you get it, wind to fill your sails, can help propel you towards your goals in this new year. And here's what I mean by that. I talked about DMD, right? So the first D would be desire. At the beginning of the year, especially right now, when a lot of you are setting goals or you were thinking about goals during December, when you're hanging out with your family or doing other things, doing holiday fun things, you start to think about, okay, what do I want to do next year? You're starting to build up that desire. And desire is a feeling. It feels pretty good to most people. I have a desire to change something in my life. I have a desire to go towards a future version of myself where something is different. I have a new story, a new reality that I'm stepping into. So think of the desire as that feeling state, as the pull of your future state self. That is your future self on December 31st, and you're in January right now. Your future self is waving to you off in the distance and going, it's so good over here. Come join me. And that desire, that pull can be a really good thing. Now, sometimes desire can be made out of something that you're going towards because of the fact that you maybe have some feelings in there that don't feel so good. And you're building desire off of the fact, like weight loss would be a good one to use as an example. If you specifically wanted to get in better shape or have more muscle tone or something like that, you might be in a state right now where you feel like, oh, it's going to be so hard to get going or anything, or you might have some negative feelings associated that are actually driving that desire. So there can be both. I would argue that it is going to be more attractive to you to pull from a sense of how good it's going to feel to have more muscle tone, to have been able to lose that weight that you want to lose, to be able to be spending more time with your family if that's one of your goals, or hitting that revenue goal. Think about how it's going to feel to your future self and feel the pull of a positive, kind feeling to yourself to fuel that desire. So desire is the first D. And you're like, okay, you said it's DMD, Aaron. So the second one is motivation. So it starts off at the beginning, right? When you have a goal, you have a future state you want to go towards with that desire, that feeling state. Now, as you move forward, that desire will start to wane a little bit. And some mornings, let's say if you started in January and it's now April, you might wake up some days and you feel super motivated. You feel super motivated to get up and make those sales phone calls, super motivated to create a new part of your customer experience story where you're onboarding for your new clients. You're going to do something really cool for them and send them a video or do something neat for them. And you're really excited about it. It's motivating you to get your butt in the office and create the video or do the thing that you want to do or write that email. And that feels good. That motivation is coming from there. So motivation, think about where you can sprinkle those, and when it's available, when that wind is available for your galley ship to fill your sails and propel you forward, it means you don't have to row maybe as hard with the oars. And that's great. When motivation is there and you're able to use it to your advantage, use it. What's the thing about motivation though? In my experience and in my clients' experience, motivation comes and goes. It's like your favorite house guest that you love to have over, and you always have a really good time, but they can't stay forever. They have other things to go and do. So they come and they stay for a little while, but then they leave again. And hopefully they'll come back in the future. But if you're not going to be motivated every single day to reach your goals, you're just not. And that's very human. Of course, you can't be in a motivated state every single day. So if you're not able to have desire or motivation on any given day, if those things aren't showing up for you, let's say we're April or July in the calendar year and you're moving towards your goals, then the thing that's going to rescue you is discipline, the final D, DMD. That first one was desire. The second one was motivation. And when those first two don't show up, you can always rely on your oars, and your oars are discipline. Discipline is the habit that you have built up using your desire and your motivation and doing it, repetitions over and over and over again, showing up for yourself, doing what you said you were going to do so that that muscle memory is there. And it might not feel the best. Sometimes the oars are slow and steady and you're just going to move in the right direction today. It might not be as fast as when the wind is filling your ship's sails and blowing you and it seems easier and it seems more fun. But discipline, that pure habit action. Discipline is an action. It is not a feeling. So the first two, desire and motivation, I would argue are very feeling based. You can attach emotions to them, hopefully positive emotions that will pull you towards where you want to go or propel you. Discipline is an action. It's something you decide to do. It gets easier the more that you do it. We call those habits. So those are your oars. This is what keeps you going when desire has faded and motivation just didn't come over to hang out today. Now, if you want more specific information, I have a really short episode. It's like 14 minutes long. It's episode 28, where I talk about how to create habits so that they are actually desirable for you to do as well. Little things you can do to trick your brain into liking forming those habits and rowing with those oars. So check out episode 28 if you want a little more information on discipline and how to make those oars a little easier to row for you as well. So this is what I wanted to leave you with today was, as you're looking at your resolutions, if you call them that, goals, things that you want to do in this next year. First of all, don't let the haters tell you that that's lame to set New Year's resolutions or goals. Anytime that you have space intentionally to go ahead and think about what you want to be and a future self you want to move towards, don't listen to them. If this is something that you want to do right now and you're feeling like you want to do it, do it. So DMD, desire, that's awesome. That's what makes us set goals, set those New Year's resolutions in the first place. Motivation is going to show up occasionally. When it does, it's going to fill your sails. It's going to make you feel like the rowing of the oars is even easier, and it's great. Enjoy it when it's there. When it's not there, the discipline, the fact that your brain knows that, hey, we've been showing up for ourselves all along this point, and we're not going to stop now. We're going to have those habits that you've established, and you're going to use them to your advantage. You're going to row with those oars, even if you're a little bit tired. And maybe you don't row as far that day. That's okay. When you're filling your sails with that motivation or desire and getting the oars, like, you can start to feel like, well, that's normal. That's baseline. But it might not be. Oars, you might only get a little bit done that day. That's okay. Are you still moving at least a little bit in the right direction towards that future self that you want to build? Then you're doing fine. Don't beat yourself up about it. You did something to move in the right direction today. So that's what I have for you today. Check out episode 28. Like I said, if you want more information about habit forming to make it tastier for you so that you enjoy doing it and trick yourself in little ways in order to do it. But other than that, I just want to say good luck to you in this new year. I'm going to be here to support you. We have some amazing guests coming on and some amazing things we're going to be telling you about soon as well. Have a fantastic time, and I will talk to you soon.